Adobe Spark is a free program. It lets you create 3 different kinds of products. It creates posts, which are kind of like social media posts that you see where there's like a graphic image with text laid over it and probably some kind of filter applied to it. The second thing it can create is very simple websites. And then third, it can actually create animated videos. And it's a really simple product that can create some really nice looking stuff pretty quickly. So to access Adobe Spark, you want to go to spark.adobe.com. And you can sign into Spark with your school Google email account. So just click Continue with Google. And the first time that you sign in, it's going to ask you for your birth date. And if you're 13 or younger, I think is the cutoff, it doesn't allow you to use it. So for students that are elementary school, middle school, probably this isn't an option. There's lots of things a teacher could do with it. For high school students, that should be able to use it without any difficulty. You will need to allow it to access different permissions, like a lot of other Google connections. Okay, so on the My Projects page, you've got a plus button here. So I'm going to click on that, and you have 3 basic products that you can create. Posts, very simple web pages, and the third are animated videos, which can include video clips, but they can also just be like moving still images. But they're all easy to create. We'll take a look at each of these individually. So I'll start with a post. First, you want to enter your basic text message that you want to be on the image, and you can add more text later, so don't think that you have to put all of it in one entry, but just to get a starting point here. Okay, so it randomly selects a background image and a style and font for the text. And so this is what you get. Now, I mean, you could use this right away, but I'm going to show you how to customize this and modify this a little bit. Okay, so I have the text here. I can move this around. I get little guidelines there to snap it into position if you want to perfectly center something. I'm going to move this up towards the top. And I'm going to add a second text element. So I'm going to click Add Text. I'll move this down here. And you can resize the text, and so as you do that, it sort of adjusts and changes its layout. Okay, so let's go through some of the ways to change this. I'm going to start over here on Design, and if you look through here, there are several examples of these kind of social media posts that you can choose from. Now, when you click on one of these, all it's going to change is the text and the color scheme behind it. The picture isn't going to, it's not going to add this picture you see here. So here's an example. We could go with this guy here. And then what you see is, it tries to create a similar look to this thing here. But, that's not going to work right off the bat for everybody. So just be aware that's a great starting point, but you'll probably need to do some work on it even after that. So you can pick any of these and see if they give you a look that you kind of are interested in using. And so we'll go back here. Okay, so that's the design panel. If we go to layout, we have some options that refer to the shape of the post in its entirety. And so you can see that there is the ability to add a margin. You've got some different layout options in terms of like putting it in a stripe, like that. You can have a grid system where there's a couple different features here, and you could have a third item that you could put some different text into. Whenever you see this little crossed arrows there, that means that you can click that and mix and match the settings and just kind of randomize it. So that will trade the color patterns. If you click on Resize, there's some handy options with formatting that fits the preferred sizes for each of these social media sites. And so there's like the Instagram square shape or the Facebook shape here. And farther down, there are specific sizes for like profile images. So if you were going to use it for that, that's kind of handy. But we'll just stick with our original layout here, which was that one. Okay, on palette, let's click on palette. This is the color scheme for the text, and for the background elements that you have behind the text, the shapes here. So again, if you see the crossed arrows, you can mix and match. And it also adjusts the filter in the background over the picture. So sometimes you get a good result just by clicking through this. If you want to use a different color scheme, you can just click down here for something different. And so it's pretty easy to get some nice looking combinations with these setups here. Okay, let's move to background. First, there's the photo section, which is the filters. And so you can choose to use a different filter in the background to change that. And also within each filter, there are several settings that can be adjusted. If you go to color, you can pick a solid color for the background. And what that does is it removes your picture entirely. So be careful if you decide to choose that. It can be a nice look, but you do lose that picture. You can also choose to replace the picture right here. And so you can choose a different picture. And so if we choose a picture of a field, and then we can go back to our background color or background photo, and we can adjust some of these filter settings. You can make it black and white. Okay, and then finally under text, these are all the settings that can be adjusted. So the shape refers to this dark shape that's behind the text. The color pattern is red and dark gray, so you can see those colors there. And then the font, you've got spacing, alignment, and opacity that you can change as well. If you just want to mix it all up and see what happens, you can click in the center of this circle here, and this green circle will start to move around the bigger circle. And those are just different looks. So you can experiment and see if something good comes up. What's nice about this green circle going around the edge is if you see one you like, I just remember where that circle is. I can keep going. And if I don't see anything that I really like yet, I can go back to where I was, to that one. And so that's kind of the way that this circle works. Okay, so I'm going to click done on that. There's a lot of options that you can manually change. So if I go to shape, we can pick something like that or pick a different shape to go around it. You'll notice the crossed arrows come up on some of these, and when you click that, sometimes you'll get a punch through where you can see through the text into what's behind it, or the text will change colors. There's lots of banner options. You can also add social media logos and icons if you need to. So color schemes, you got these split color options, and again you can reverse them by clicking the arrows here. Okay, and then lots of font choices. Spacing also changes the room that's around it in terms of shapes and things like that. So as you click it, you'll see the shape get bigger and smaller. Alignment changes also sometimes the size, like the top line got smaller there. And then opacity here is a slider that can make it transparent. Okay, that's basically it, and you can mess around and try different options there. So when you're done with it and you want to save it and use this as a picture, you click the share button. You have a couple options. First of all, you can just download the image and then it's on your computer, and you can attach that to an email or add it to a website, whatever you want to do with it. You can also just keep it as an online document and share the link to that document. So if I do that, I'm going to do these steps here, publish and share. So story details, I can give my image a title. I can pick a category. I can turn on this switch to have my name associated with this as the creator. There's an option for removing the Adobe Spark branding. The Get Noticed switch means that this will be searchable on the internet, so people could do a Google search and this image might come up. If you turn that off, you can still get a link to it, and people who have the link can find it, but nobody will kind of stumble across it on the internet randomly. So I'm going to do that, create an unlisted link. So it takes a second here, and then the link shows up right there, and now you can copy and paste that anywhere you want to share this image. So I can take that URL and I can paste it up here in my browser, and this is what somebody would see if they went to your link. And here is your image. And that's how you create posts with Adobe Spark.